the way, about 2 hours into the game. Yeah, let me show you that. I'm about 2 hours into the game. I'm on chapter 2. I will go back and review the earlier chapters a bit later, but this is basically a research stream where I sort of get my bearings down. Um, I've basically been making a main line through the game and skipping all the storytelling stuff. This is a safe spot here because there's a boss over to the right that I'm not in the mood to face because I've already died to him. We'll explain why in a minute. Here I'm going to work on my grind. In this game, in the original Valkyrie Profile, you might be familiar with this. There was a system where you could initiate combat with your sword button right there. You could jump if you needed to. You could throw phosons. Those are for puzzles, and I'll show you a bit of those in a second right here. Freeze the enemies like that. You can move them around like that. Whoop, they're going to break it. So let me come out. So they can break the phosons. If I press it twice, switch places with them. And I'm going to need that in a second because there's some dudes over here. There's some platforms over here I need to get to. Yeah, so let me try that. Oh, by the way, the radar shows you where the phosons are and the enemies are, so that's incredibly handy. In fact, I'm going to need that in a second. So I was able to jump on that frozen dude and get up here. Jump again. Wasn't there a treasure chest here? Okay, that's right. Swap places with this guy. Okay. Oh, there was an air jump that I was able to do a second ago, and I'll show you that. If you freeze an enemy, then hold the jump button down as you're swapping places with them. You will jump as soon as you teleport to the other side of the enemy. I'll show you that. I'm holding... Oh, by the way, I can hold down. And these phosons will bounce off of the walls and the floor. You'll need that for some levels. Right here, I'm going to hold up, throw the phoson up, freeze the enemy above me, as you can see on the radar up there on the left-hand side. Yep, missed him. Let's go up here. I'm going to do it again. Hold the A button. Excuse me, that was the circle button. And I did a mid-air jump as soon as I landed. As soon as I swapped, so... That's a trick I'm going to need. There was something up here that I already got. Yeah, in fact, there was a switch up here that I hit with my sword, which allowed me to go to the next stage, or the next room that you saw me just enter from. So let me see if I can swap places with this guy. See? The radar makes it easy for me to do that, so... It's easier for you to do these little puzzles with enemies that are off screen. Whoop. Hit the floor. A few other things I should mention. Again, as in the original game, which I won't be able to do a video of right away because I sold the PS1 version and I cannot play PSP games on my DVD player. Way to go, Sony. But at any rate, I'll swap places with this guy again. Okay. This is the easiest way to avoid combat in this game, is to just swap places with enemies. I'm going to do a thing. I don't think there are any enemies here. Oh yeah, there are these dumb little mazes we got going on here. I'm going to hit the R2 button. Sorry, the R1 button. Let me do that again. The R1 button gets rid of that mini-map. Press the R2 button. I'll take you to the map screen. This, well, supposedly it's the reason it's called Valkyrie Profile. These flat 3D mazes you got here, which represent all the dungeons in this game, or at least how dungeons are laid out in this game. I am that green diamond down there on the bottom, and as you can see right here, I'm in front of a door. It's going to take me to the back layer. I am in the front layer. Looks like there are 5 layers in this dungeon. The squares and the grid layout show the layout of the dungeon so far. Consider this a spoiler, as like I said, it's chapter 2. I'm in Daipan Castle. Since I'm in front of the door, as you can see right here, see where it says head inward? There's a little yellow triangle there on the mini-map that shows that I can go to the background and go to the background layer. That background layer is where that arrow points right here on the screen. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit. Yeah, so that'll help. Pardon my mess. Ugh. Okay, so there's a bit of... There we go. See that? That shows... Whoop. Yeah, I'm going to need the D-pad for the rest of this. Yeah, the controls, right? They're the controls. Funny if they worked, right? Oh. I didn't know I can turn all this on or off. I'll do that. I'll show that a bit later. But basically, like I said, this rotating green diamond is where I am. Since I'm in front of the door, that shows where the door leads, and I'll rotate this a bit. Yeah, so that'll show the back layer right there. That shows you the layout. There's also some more stuff to the left, which I think was just either switches that I had to hit or treasures that I picked up. And let me go around that and I'll zoom out. Zoom. Yeah, let's try that again. That zoom. Okay. So again, you can see where I am now. L1 and R1 to zoom. Let me zoom out. Okay. Let me rotate it that way. Okay, so you could see those little triangles pointing to the left and right, to the left of me. Those are just more rooms I've already explored. And, of course, you were able... In fact, let me go down here so you can see how the inward and outward map navigation system works. Okay, so there's some enemies here. I'll avoid them for a second. I can probably come back here and grind. So I'll swap. Okay, so now I'm out of danger. If the enemies touch you, they will initiate combat with an advantage. By the way, this is the room I was talking about earlier. I don't know what's in here. It might be important later. I don't know. We'll get to that. Maybe after I beat the boss, it'll make me double back to this room. So, just documenting that. Okay, here's the fun part. We're going to initiate some combat. Gonna freeze this guy. Can I break him? Nope. Okay, so that's how I break the crystal. Okay, but... let me initiate some combat with this dude. I'm going to press the sword button. So I will have the advantage in combat. And I'm behind him, by the way. Guess I didn't initiate I guess I didn't initiate. Okay, this is not real time. This is turn-based. In the original Valkyrie Profile, you were basically on a flat 2D plane. In this sequel, you can navigate this open map screen right here. Here's what I want to know. Here's the control map for this combat area. I would say that targeting and dashing are the more important things right now because they allow me to determine which enemy I can attack, and the dashing allows me to determine how... it's a quick way to get around enemies that have this red area in front of them. I'm going to have to do a separate video where I explain combat. There was a tutorial that explained some of it. I'll come back to that. R2 is targeting mode. Sorry, let's try that again. R2 is switching the radar on and off. I'm going to need that radar. Ah, here we go. There is a glowing orange square over there in that direction, pointing towards the right. That orange square is the leader. I can make a beeline for the leader and end this fight right away without having to face any of these other guys. Which I'm going to try and do. And you can see all these other red squares over here. These are the enemies that will move as I move. It's like Adventures of Lolo, if you remember that. Lufia 2 had dungeons like this where the enemies don't move until you start moving. And I'm pretty sure I played another game like that where that was the case, but we'll explain that later. I'm going to try and make a beeline for the bad guy, the leader of this group. See these guys? See that red triangle there? That's the cone of sight for the enemies. It's moving as I move. If I step into that cone, the enemy will attack me. If I land on that red cone, the enemy will attack me. If it starts flashing, it means they are going to attack me. What I'm going to try and do is I'm not going to make a beeline for the bad guy yet. I'm not going to make a beeline for the leader yet. What I'm going to try and do is get behind him and initiate combat from behind before he can turn around and see me. I'm going to initiate combat by pressing the button of either of these characters as soon as I end my dash. Which means I'm going to initiate combat as soon as I stop my dash. I can try and walk over to him. I'll do that a bit later. And by the way, once I initiate combat, I can press any of these buttons during that combat to get my colleagues to attack. I'm going to mash buttons for now, because for the purposes of this video, it works pretty well. Dash. There we go. This is me mashing buttons. All these meters and stuff I'll explain later. Don't have to worry about it now. Let's see. Where else? The enemy... darn it. The captain's in the back. He's being blocked by all these enemies. I'm not going to be able to make a beeline for him. That's okay. By the way, on the bottom, you can see my AP. It's that yellow bar on the very bottom of the screen. I'm at 76. As I move, it will increase. I can also press, the L3 button, the left analog knob. I can press that button to just charge it entirely. Like that. Which means I'm willing to let the enemies come to me while that meter completely charges. Or I can just run around a bit and charge the meter. It does the same thing. I'm going to see if I can get this guy closer to me and then dash towards him. Let me go around. We aren't that fast, but we're fast enough. Okay, see if I can dash through this guy's line of sight. Nope, didn't work. So I landed in his red square, it flashed, and he started attacking me. How rude. So I will return the favor by initiating an attack on this doofus right here. He will be my plaything. Ha! Overattack means I'm taking his life meter down beyond the 0 point. So that means I'm basically overkilling him. There are rewards for that if you do it right, but we'll explain that later. Where's the next guy? He's down here. He's coming towards me. Oh, by the way, as you saw as I was walking towards this dude, my AP meter is completely full now. Okay, I guess there are no enemies down that corridor, so I'm not going to worry about it. God, the bitrate's going to be destroyed by all this texturing. We're not going to complain about that yet. We're in 1 hour recording mode, by the way. Okay, let me see if I can get to the side of this guy. There we go. Got behind him. One more dude left? Yep, that guy. See that the top left corner of the screen, there's a little icon next to the profile and the between the profile of the enemy and the HP meter. That icon means he's the leader. I mentioned before that he had that orange glowing square on the map screen. Unfortunately, we're not gonna worry about that freak. Whoops, went the wrong way. By the way, that shows where he's looking. You can see my AP meter's down to 64, so I'll walk a little bit and refill it. Yeah, we'll get up to speed. Okay. You can see that orange meter right there? That's where he's facing. I'll see if I can get around him by dashing. I think we're good. We're almost there, so let's make one more dash and close the distance. Got behind him. And he's down. If I take out the leader first, or I think if I take him out before other enemies are destroyed, I think I get some items for doing that. Okay, one other thing I'm going to show, because it's going to be part of my grinding process. Yes, well, in the original Valkyrie Profile, you had to grind too, but in this game, it's a bit easier to grind because enemies regenerate, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. In fact, I'm going to be doing a lot of grinding for a while. By the way, this is the remnant of the enemy I just defeated. I can freeze it. I can switch places with it. I can move it around. It won't break. In fact, I can slash it. See? I can just walk through it. So you'll be able to you'll have to manipulate those in other stages. But watch what I do here. This enemy's already been defeated. It's a purple. Now it's a gray. So that means the enemy is no longer active. But watch this. As soon as I leave the room, I'll come back, and the enemy's back. Swap places with them. So this is how I'm going to grind, basically. I'm going to walk back and forth and grind. Just stay on that grind, because that's what this game is all... I don't want to say it's all about that, but there's a lot of it, and it's going to help you out, because how am I going to beat the boss in the stage on the far right unless I grind? Exactly. But that's perfectly fine for this game, because I'm going to need all this grinding to build up all my other colleagues in the same way I just did. So it's good that I can grind, at least at this point of the game, because it's going to be how I practice the combat and all that good stuff. So... I'll save here and bank all that progress I just... Actually, I'm not going to save here. Well, I took some damage. Yeah, I took some damage. Yeah, I won't save here, but you saw me actually do all that stuff. Yeah, I took some hits. Not too bad, though. We'll save here. Okay, because I won't take much more damage. Guess I'll overwrite that. So for the upcoming videos, I'm going to do some more grinding. But what I will do is go up to my earlier game saves, to little tutorials, just sort of do a dry run of this game, because that Chapter 1 save is the very first save spot in the game. So allow me to sort of explain in more detail a lot of the things I just went over. So consider this a prologue stream, I suppose. But I'm going to be playing a lot more of this in the next couple of weeks, because let's be honest, I never finished it. And not only did I never finish it, I basically stopped playing it not because I didn't want to play it, but because I got like 20 some hours into the game and said, you know what? I like this game. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna shelve it. And guess what? I didn't touch it for like 8 years. I literally bought this game the day it came out. It's like the only game I've ever purchased on day one, and I liked it. I just never played it. At least didn't play it much beyond that. So this will be me documenting the, I'll call it the brand spanking new Valkyrie Profile experience. That'll be fun.